So there's a story in this book that I think most people get completely wrong. So this is a story that gets told so many times in self-development circles that it almost has like a sensational nature to it. So this book, Think and Grow Rich, was written by Napoleon Hill. It was the most popular book, save the Bible, in 1937. And it was written after the Great Depression. And so obviously the working class was kind of distraught and depressed. And Napoleon's like, I need to write a book that's kind of inspire the masses. And he did exactly that. This book is considered the founder of what we call the self-development movement in America. And in this book, he tells a story about a guy named R.U. Darby. A true story. The story starts with his uncle wants to go strike it rich in the gold rush in Colorado. And so he finds gold. And so he gets his nephew and gets investors, right? They get equipment. They're like, we're going to be so rich. We're going to get this gold. And so they do. They start digging and they find gold, and it's going very well. But after a very short amount of time, the gold runs out. And so they're faced with a dilemma that you or I would be in if we were in the same situation, which is, do we keep on going? Maybe there's no gold any deeper. Maybe this is it. Should we give up or should we keep on going? And ultimately they decided to stop the mine. So they sold the equipment for pennies on the dollar to a second guy. He brings in what the book calls a mining engineer, which we might call a geologist. And the mining engineer takes a look at the geology and says, based upon my wisdom, I think you're going to pick up the vein of gold 3 feet deeper. So the second guy is like, okay, deal. So he buys the equipment from the first guy for pennies on the dollar and picks up the mine. And exactly as the geologist said, they pick up the gold 3 feet deeper. And they go on to make a fortune. And so the first guy, Darby, he's like, never again, right? And in fairness, he goes on, he's like, never again will I give up so easily. And in fact, he becomes a life insurance salesman, right? And he does really, really well. To give the devil his due, he does really well. Napoleon says, failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost out of reach. So gurus will say, and Napoleon himself will say, well, see, the lesson here is perseverance. And although I have nothing against perseverance, I don't think that's the lesson in this story. Yes, it's true, the first guy didn't persevere, but the second guy didn't persevere. The second guy didn't have any more chutzpah or tenacity or perseverance than the first guy. The only thing that I can surmise differently between the first guy and the second guy was the second guy got an outside consultant and followed his advice. That's the only difference.